Right, folks, this week there's a very important exercise that you need to be doing in your garden. If you haven't done it already, listen up, because if you want to protect your plants, if you live in an area that gets loads of frost, where the temperatures drop, you need to do this. This is not a blankie that I'm going to wrap myself in because it's winter. No, this is a blankie for the plants. It's called Frost Cover, and it's an amazing product. Dirt cheap. You can pick it up at your local garden centre, but let me tell you, it is so going to protect your plants that are tender, that are susceptible to becoming frosted during those really cold winter nights when the temperatures drop way below zero. All you've got to do is on your frost tender plants, you just simply take it and wrap it round, making sure that you really do get deep underneath the plant. Here's the good thing about the frost cover, is that during the day, you actually don't need to take it off. Plants are capable of photosynthesizing and growing through this fabric. Leave it on right through the winter. As soon as you know that the next few days are going to be frost-free, or that the frost is way gone and you're very safe, then whoops, take it off and you're good to go. Your plants won't be damaged at all. During the garden at this time of the year, there are a couple of things that you really should be doing. One of these you could do at any time of the year, but I tell you, when you do it in winter, when everything is kind of just losing all its leaves, it really is looking a bit bare, it's a way to redefine certain elements within a garden, and that's called lifting the canopy of a tree, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing to this paperbark tree today. What it does is, essentially, it's about just removing the lower branches so that you can get to enjoy the real beauty of a tree and an important element of it, which is the stem. So how do we go about it? Well, number one, we're going to need a pair of secateurs like this, a nice sharp pair of secateurs, and a lopper. Now, there are many different loppers that you can get. What I suggest strongly is that you get one that's got one of these cushions here. See, it's got almost a bit of rubber here, so that when you're cutting, it almost breaks it, and it stops that, you know, it's almost like a sounding of metal. Right, how do we attack this? Very simply, you want to look at the lower branches on the tree. Now, because these guys have got some major thorns, as you can see here, the first thing I want to do is just prune away some of these lower outer branches so that I can actually get into the plant. So a pair of secateurs like this is fine. Remember, with a pair of secateurs just like this, you don't want to try and cut anything thicker than probably one of those thin kokies. You do not want to try and cut anything fatter than that. Anything fatter than that, you are going to ruin your pair of secateurs. So right, folks, now that we've finished removing the thinner branches, and remember, those are not thicker than your pinky or than one of those thin koki pens. We're going to put this baby away, and now we're going to start using the loppers. And this is where I'm going to take the loppers. Now, watch carefully. I'm going to go right against the stem, against the main stem of the plant here. Not over there, not there. I want to go at least just about 5 millimeters from the main stem of the plant, and then I'm just going to squeeze down. And there we go, we get a fantastic, nice, clean cut. And immediately you can see I've already opened up this part of the tree. And now those ones that I've just pruned back lightly, I'm going to go and carry on removing those. And that is going to show how this tree is going to open up so nicely. Okay. The great thing about loppers is that when you're dealing with thorny beasts like this, you just hook the loppers onto it, and then you can simply just pull it out. There we go. Ha ha, no mess, no fuss. And there you go. This guy can go here. Oh, immediately you can see and there we go. I mean, tell me that this tree doesn't look a whole lot better. Lifted the trunk, as we call it, raised the canopy. Now you can get to see the real gorgeous part of this tree. And as an indigenous specimen, now is looking even better than it did before. If you've been yearning, wanting to start your own veggie garden and thinking of what can I plant that's really easy to get me started, then here's the one. This is what you need. You need to sow some beans. So how do you do it? Well, it's all about the prep. So let's go through it very quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a trough. Literally one trough just in front of me here, in between these brinjal plants. And the way I'm going to do it is just take some compost. I'm going to start here. And I'm just going to throw this on the ground to make a line, because this is where these babies are going to go. Okay, that should be fine. And then, of course, we need some bone meal, or rather use some 2,3,4 planting fertilizer, which will do exactly the same thing. But over here, there we go, that should do it. Now what we're going to do is simply turn this in and dig this into the soil. Now, I've got this cool gadget over here. Take a look at this. This looks lethal. I mean, I could harpoon someone with this. However, you've got this attachment. Pop it in. Here we go. Tighten it. And then all you do is just do that. And it's a little mini cultivator. I mean, check at that. It's like I got a mini plow going along here. Now remember, if you're going to be cultivating a new veggie patch for the first time, then you are going to use something with a bit more vuma in it. Something like a spade or a fork to really turn it over. Then all I do, unscrew this baby, take it out, and I then add this guy onto it. That's the trick. And all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to rake it out and get a nice even finish. And we then have finished our prep, and we're ready to get down to the planting. All right, folks, that should do it. Now what I'm going to do, take my bean seeds, whatever you do, unless you've got a big enough space, do not be tempted to sow the entire packet at once. You're literally just going to take a few of these babies, because every one is going to germinate and every one is going to bring you a beautiful little bush about that big that will be loaded with beans. So what we need to do is make sure we're not standing right on top of where we've just turned the soil. All you're going to do is just take your finger, make a little hole like that. It doesn't need to be too deep. Your maximum depth over here is 2 centimeters, and you're going to pop it in. What I suggest that you do is you first measure out, make all your little holes, because then you actually know where the beans are. Just pop the little guy in, carry on along here, about 20 centimeters, that should do it. Pop that little baby in, and there I have it. I've got 10 potential little bean plants that are now in here. The seeds are planted. All I'm going to do is simply just cover each one up, taking the back of my hand, firming it down, take the back of your hand, firm it down, and that way you're covering each little seed and making sure that they're nice and snug with the soil around them. Remember, you want to make everybody in your family very aware that you've planted bush beans here. So write the name down on a label and the date that you sowed them, so that you can make sure that nobody comes and decides to plant something else over here, or even worse, dig them all up.